What if the woman you loved, the one you built a life with, was secretly plotting your demise? Not just emotionally, but literally. I never thought I'd find myself staring at a glowing phone screen at 2 a.m., the harsh blue light illuminating words that would shatter my entire existence. It wasn't a text message, not a scandalous photo. It was her search history. How to inherit everything faster. Legal loopholes for spouse's sudden death. Best ways to hide assets from probate. My heart didn't just sink, it imploded, leaving a gaping, freezing void where warmth used to be. The woman sleeping peacefully beside me, my wife Sarah, was a stranger. A viper in a silk nightgown. And in that moment, I knew my life, as I understood it, was over. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The betrayal wasn't a sudden, violent blow. It was a slow, insidious poison. Sarah had always been ambitious, but I'd mistaken it for drive. We lived in a beautiful brownstone in Brooklyn Heights, overlooking the Manhattan skyline. A testament to years of my hard work in finance, she was a marketing executive, charming and outwardly devoted, or so I thought. The first crack appeared subtly, a shift in her routine. Late nights at the office became more frequent. Her phone always face down, notifications silenced. I dismissed it as the demands of her high-pressure job, even felt a pang of guilt for my fleeting suspicions. Then came the humiliation. A casual dinner with friends in Tribeca at a restaurant we frequented. Sarah excused herself to the restroom. Her phone, usually glued to her hand, was left on the table. A notification flashed across the screen. Text from a contact saved as Client X. The preview read, "Can't wait for our weekend getaway, my love. Your husband will never know." My blood ran cold. I felt a primal scream clawing at my throat, but I swallowed it, forcing a smile when she returned. The food tasted like ash. The world tilted on its axis. The strange behavior escalated. She started taking calls in hushed tones in the guest room, her voice dropping to a whisper if I entered the hallway. Receipts for expensive gifts, not for me, began appearing in her purse, a diamond pendant from Tiffany's on Fifth Avenue. A weekend stay at the Plaza Hotel. I confronted her once gently about the hotel receipt. She snapped, accusing me of being paranoid, controlling. "It was a work retreat, David. Are you seriously questioning my loyalty?" Her eyes, usually so warm, were cold, calculating. The gaslighting had begun. The slow discovery was agonizing. I installed a discreet keylogger on her laptop, a desperate measure born of desperation. The emails, the chat logs, they painted a picture of a sordid affair with a man named Mark, a junior partner at her firm. He was smug, his messages dripping with condescension towards me, calling me the old money bag. They met at the W Hotel in Union Square, had clandestine lunches at a diner on 14th Street, and planned a future built on my ruin. The search history I found later, the one about inheriting everything faster, confirmed my darkest fears. This wasn't just an affair, it was a conspiracy. Sarah became a master manipulator. She'd shower me with affection, cook my favorite meals, then turn around and subtly undermine my confidence. Question my decisions, make me feel like I was losing my mind. "You're so stressed lately, David. Maybe you need a break from work." She was trying to isolate me, to make me vulnerable. The villains, Sarah and Mark, felt untouchable, basking in their deceit. Believing they were clever, invincible. I watched them, a ghost in my own home, my own life, collecting every piece of evidence, every lie, every stolen moment. I broke down one night alone in my study, the city lights of New York blurring through the window. The weight of the betrayal, the sheer audacity of their plan crushed me. I cried until there were no tears left, till only a cold, hard resolve remained. This wasn't about anger anymore, it was about justice, it was about survival. I secretly gathered proof meticulously. I hired a private investigator, a former NYPD detective named Frank. He documented their meetings, their intimate moments, their conversations about my assets, my health, my life insurance policies. He found a burner phone Sarah used, its call logs filled with Mark's number and calls to a shady lawyer specializing in contested wills. I copied every incriminating email, every search query, every bank statement showing transfers to a joint offshore account they'd secretly opened. I had a mountain of evidence, enough to bury them both. Then, I began setting my traps. I subtly shifted my assets, creating trusts that would make it impossible for her to access my wealth directly. I updated my will, leaving Sarah a token amount, with the bulk going to charities and a distant cousin I barely knew. With a clause that explicitly disinherited her in the event of infidelity or attempted fraud, I leaked anonymous tips to the ethics committee at Sarah's firm, hinting at an inappropriate relationship between a senior executive and a junior partner. Coupled with potential corporate espionage, I knew Mark had been using company resources for their schemes. The public exposure was swift and brutal. I filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. But my lawyer, a formidable woman named Eleanor Vance, from a firm on Wall Street, had a separate sealed filing detailing the fraud and infidelity. The ethics committee launched an investigation into Sarah and Mark. The news broke in the local papers. Small blurb at first, then a full-blown scandal as the evidence mounted. Sarah's carefully constructed image crumbled. Her firm, fearing reputational damage, fired her and Mark. Their names became synonymous with deceit. Sarah was completely ruined. The divorce proceedings were a spectacle. Eleanor presented the evidence, the search history, the burner phone records, the private investigators' reports, the offshore account details. Sarah tried to deny, to deflect, to play the victim, but the proof was overwhelming. The judge, a stern woman in the Manhattan family court, saw through her lies. Sarah walked away with nothing but her tarnished reputation and a mountain of legal fees. Her social circle evaporated. Her career was in tatters. Mark, too, faced professional ruin and a potential lawsuit from his former firm. I saw Sarah once more, months later, at a coffee shop on Bleecker Street. She looked hollow, her eyes devoid of the spark they once held. She didn't see me, lost in her own desolate world. I felt no triumph, no joy, only a profound, chilling emptiness. The silence of her ruin was the loudest sound of all. The end.